Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weather forecast. Today I'm going to be covering the weather for April 21st, 2023. For today, as I predicted yesterday, the cold front that's passing through is no longer as severe as what we were seeing yesterday down through Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas especially, and now it's marginal risk for parts of Pennsylvania, New York, parts of Kentucky, maybe parts of West Virginia, and parts of Ohio, and maybe more, and parts of the majority of Mississippi, the majority of Louisiana, and parts of Arkansas, and maybe parts of Alabama here, down up in Ohio. You can see that it's going to. There's the potential for more isolated thunderstorms, and maybe the possibility for an isolated hail or a damaging winds threat. But then also down here, there's the potential for it's a lot more. I'm pretty sure if we look at the low level jet, for Louisiana, around Louisiana, which is what helps really make tornadoes spin, you can see that there is a pretty strong low level jet around Louisiana, but then also okay-ish. There's also a pretty strong low level jet up through Ohio, New York, and Pennsylvania. Um, that's that's where we might see the possibility for an embedded tornado, and the tornado threat is mostly isolated to just this area. I'm unsure about why this area doesn't have one either, because there's more, there's a lot stronger low-level jet to make the tornadoes really spin up, and it's more isolated. So I'm unsure about why there's not really much of a tornado threat down here, according to the NOAA. But again, I'm not a certified meteorologist. But I do understand why there would be a little bit of a tornado threat down here, because it's a lot more strong, it's more severe, and it's more likely to be more organized. And there is a decent low-level jet down through Louisiana, but even though it's stronger down through the marginal threat that's up in the north, I'm unsure about why there's not a tornado threat over here, but there is, because it's weaker. I'm unsure about that, and the fact that there's going to be more isolated storms down here, as well as some embedded storms. But I'm honestly unsure about that. But if we look at the composite reflectivity, thank you, ASUS. You can see that what is down there, there's the potential for some isolated hail threats. Actually, I can get this in a much bigger view, thanks I figured this out. There is the potential for some isolated thunderstorms up in here in front of the frontal boundary. And like earlier today, how it's an organized line, a much organized line of in possibly the potential for small hail embedded within this line in some parts. The possibility it's going to be embedded, but if there is any hail at all, it's most likely to be very small, and not very large, like we were seeing in the embedded systems that were down through Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas. But then it's expected to arrive to the other end of Kentucky and Tennessee by Saturday, tomorrow, and continue past the Appalachian Mountains, and continue through the Appalachian Mountains into Saturday, and get past that into get past that into what I think is the New England area. Give me a second to get over there to actually confirm that. Yeah, by late Saturday and Sunday, the cold front finally makes its way down into the Atlantic Plains, or whatever you call it, for east of the Appalachian Mountains, into the New England area. By Sunday, it continues off into pretty much the entirety of the New England area, and kind of staying, dispersing, and not becoming less severe, and just staying as some like unmoving. What am I trying to say here? Unmoving, stationary rain showers for New Hampshire, Vermont, and parts of Maine. That will likely stay there and subside by Wednesday of next week. So that's what we're seeing for the New England area as this cold front passes through um, the New England area. But for today, that's there's not really much of a tornado threat at all. Again, I'm uncertain about the tornado threat, but if you see how I covered the snow yesterday, the snow in the winter storm for North Dakota, South Dakota, parts of Wisconsin, and maybe parts of northern Ohio, or not Ohio, northern Iowa. All of this is most likely going to be snow, and you can see that persists until the later, or not later, but it subsides by Saturday. It starts to subside by Saturday and doesn't become really much of a problem, but then starts back up again through central Wisconsin, and that's probably the last we're going to see of snow for the northern United States. So that's what you need to know for the snow if you live in the northern plains or northern Mississippi River area through Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, South Dakota, and North Dakota. Is that the snow is going to most likely subside by the start of Saturday, but I'm not gonna touch too more on the tornado threat because, again, I said I'm pretty much unsure about the majority of the tornado threat. Is again why there's not much of a tornado threat up here when the low level jet is stronger than down here, and it's more likely to have isolated systems in front of the frontal boundary than down here. I'm unsure, but down through the marginal threat, something that I do need to cover and that I am sure of is that down through the marginal threat, especially down through the Louisiana area, Mississippi area, and off the coast of Louisiana, especially earlier today, there's the potential for medium to large hail embedded with the storm around the Louisiana and Mississippi area, and the possibility for maybe ice, maybe I'm unsure about the possibility of isolated hail in the isolated thunderstorms that do come in front of the frontal boundary and down through the marginal risk that's up here. But there is the possibility, but then there's also the possibility for embedded hail embedded in the frontal boundary as it moves east across the northern Ohio Valley and into the New England area. And along the frontal boundary, there's the potential for damaging winds. They're probably not going to be, again, not as strong as what we were seeing yesterday in Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas, but there is the possibility for damaging straight line winds because, as predicted, the storm system did organize into one big line along the frontal boundary instead of isolated supercells along the frontal boundary along the dry line down through Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas. but there is the potential for damaging straight line winds, especially most likely in the marginal areas that we're seeing today, and maybe the possibility for not strong but relatively strong, faster than your usual wind gusts, damaging straight line winds across the frontal boundary. So that's all I really had to cover for today. And please go down in the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator. And I will see you tomorrow, hopefully, with another forecast.